Hello and welcome to Dune Does DVD, and this is Disney Classics number 45, Chicken Little. Now of course this is another one in a long line of them that I have not seen. However, unlike the last two, this is one I have at least heard about. At least to the point of knowing of its existence. What I still don't know anything about is anything about the story. According to the poster at least, Chicken Little is the target. The target of what? No idea. Some kind of assassination plot? Maybe, but why would anyone want to assassinate a chicken? No way of knowing that without knowing what kind of weird, super intelligent chicken universe this particular story is set in. The character on the poster has glasses and gives off that kind of very stereotypical nerd vibe. So I'm gonna guess he's probably the kind of chicken that's probably, you know, more intelligent than the average, and that gets him into some kind of trouble. It also says a hero will emerge, so I'm guessing that Chicken Little is going to somehow overcome being a target and save chicken society somehow. But of course that's all pure speculation based on a single image and could be completely wrong. And I've no way of knowing whether it's got any of the other Disney things such as songs or singing. The main thing I'm interested in at this point is seeing Disney's first attempt at a fully CG film. So let's sit down and have a watch and see what this one's all about. Well, that was mostly kind of weird and generally not very good. It's a bit of an odd setup where everything in this world is completely human, and it just happens to be that all the characters are various types of animals. There's no interesting twists or anything on it, that's just it. The story spends ages at the beginning trying to introduce the main character and set him up as this sort of useless, anxious nerd who doesn't really have any redeeming qualities. All the beginning is introduction to a bunch of characters who are just not very interesting, and it's 27 minutes before any kind of plot starts happening. So much time is wasted telling us over and over and over again that, you know, Chicken Little isn't very good at anything. We spend a whole day of him being completely useless at school, and then he decides he wants to join the baseball team because that's what his dad did. And then we spend a whole nother sequence of him being useless at baseball, until of course by a complete fluke he manages to, you know, win them the last point they need. But that's completely irrelevant and doesn't really change the town's opinion of him in any way. And through all of that it's trying to be funny and completely failing, and that takes sort of two angles. There's a bunch of really meta, out-of-universe humour that's, you know, presumably designed to more appeal to the adults watching. There's jabs at Disney, and there's a clip from Indiana Jones, and then on the other side there's stuff that's just a bunch of crude bodily function jokes, burps and farts and pee and fat jokes, and obviously they're there to appeal to the children, but neither of which are actually any good for a normal adult. The meta references are obvious, not very funny, and out of place, and the crude stuff just doesn't appeal. Two characters spent a couple of minutes doing karaoke to the Spice Girls song Wannabe. In 2005, 9 years after that song was released. Who is that for? Anyone who was a teenager in the late 90s is in their mid-20s by this point, and they're not going to care about that reference. They're probably not even watching this film in the first place. And for people who are parents of children who are old enough to be watching this film, are probably too old to have cared about the Spice Girls the first time round. And so it's just a mishmash of all sorts of things that don't really make sense. Then we get an alien invasion, and it's like, what is this? Now this is the first time the main Disney studio has done something fully CG. The problem is, of course, the likes of Pixar and DreamWorks have already been doing that for at least 10 years at this point. And so this just comes off not innovative in any way, it just feels like a cheap knockoff. It's like, it's a Pixar film, but it hasn't got any of the heart to go with it. We've just got a misunderstood kid with a useless single dad who's not really coping very well, and some aliens, which they having a bit of an adventure with. It is competently made, but that's about the only positive thing I can really think of to say about it. Much similar to last week with Home on the Range, I can't really see this appealing to anyone over the age of 10. What are your thoughts on Chicken Little? Tell me about those, as always, in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again next week with The Wild.